Have you noticed that the things which used to feel ordinary now feel strangely heavier? Getting up from a chair, carrying groceries, walking up the stairs, lifting a suitcase, picking something up from the floor. Let me ask you the question that most people avoid because they do not like the answer. Are these little inconveniences, or are they the first warning signs that your body is quietly giving away your independence? That is the real issue here. Not vanity, not bodybuilding, not looking good in a mirror. I am talking about the moment when a man or woman realizes that daily life is becoming more difficult, not because the world changed, but because their muscles and bones stopped getting the signal to stay strong. And once that slide begins, it rarely announces itself with drama. It comes disguised as, "I'm just tired," "I'm just getting older," or "I'll deal with it later." Later is where trouble lives. Now here is the simple answer, and I want it clear. Daily life feels heavier because your body is getting weaker in the exact places that support daily life. That is it. The body is practical, ruthlessly practical. If you do not ask it to keep muscle, it lets muscle go. If you do not give your bones a reason to stay dense and resilient, they become less resilient. The body follows orders, and silence is also an order. For many people over 40, and especially over 60, the biggest mistake is not dramatic at all. It is the absence of resistance. No lifting, no carrying, no pushing, no pulling, no regular demand. And then one day they wonder why standing up feels slower and the stairs feel steeper. The answer is not mysterious. The body adapted to an easier life by becoming less capable of doing hard things. So let us wipe away the confusion. You do not need a fancy gym. You do not need to train like an athlete. You do not need to spend 6 days a week grunting under bright fluorescent lights while some 24-year-old in headphones performs for his own reflection. What you do need is far more modest and far more powerful. At least 2 days a week of strength work that tells your muscles and bones, you are still needed. Do not retire. That is the principle. The solution begins there. Strength training, done consistently, supports the movements that keep you independent. Standing, climbing, carrying, reaching, balancing, recovering from a stumble, and moving with confidence instead of hesitation. Muscle is not decoration at this stage of life. Muscle is protection. Muscle is reserve. Muscle is your built-in insurance policy against frailty. And let me say something that may sound blunt, but it is true. People do not lose independence all at once. They lose it in pieces. First, they stop getting down on the floor because it is annoying. Then they avoid stairs because it is not worth it. Then they ask for help with boxes, bags, lifting, yard work, repairs, long walks, travel, and eventually ordinary movement itself. This is why strength matters. It is not about becoming impressive. It is about remaining useful to yourself. It is about not negotiating with a chair every time you stand up. It is about not approaching a flight of stairs like it is a courtroom sentence. It is about having a body that can still say yes to life. And the good news is this. The body responds to honest effort at almost any age when the effort is repeated with intelligence. So here is the first strategy, and it is the one most people try to skip because it sounds too simple. Put 2 strength days on the calendar and treat them like appointments you do not break. Not when I have time. Not when I feel motivated. Motivation is a fair weather friend. Structure is what carries you. Pick 2 days, Tuesday and Friday, Monday and Thursday. It does not matter. What matters is that they become fixed. Why? Because the body thrives on repeated signals, not occasional enthusiasm. 2 focused days each week are enough to create a powerful change in function when you stop pretending that random movement is the same thing as strength work. It is not. Walking is wonderful. Stretching is fine, but neither replaces lifting your own body and moving resistance in a deliberate way. And these 2 days do not need to be heroic. 40 minutes is enough. Even 30 can work if you stop wasting time. Start with a warm-up that prepares you to move, not a theatrical routine that drains half your energy before the real work begins. March in place. Roll your shoulders. Sit down and stand up a few times. Take a few slow arm circles. Wake the joints up. Then get to work. The reason I insist on calendar discipline is because strength is not built in single sessions. It is built in accumulated proof. Week after week, you are teaching the body, we are not done. We are still building. Older adults who become stronger are not always the most talented. They are usually the most consistent. They understand a truth that younger people often learn late. Frequency beats intensity when intensity is unsustainable. Now, the second strategy: train the movements that run daily life. Do not get distracted by gimmicks. Your body does not care about trends, it cares about functions. There are a handful of basic actions that keep showing up in real life. And if you strengthen these, you strengthen life itself. Sit down and stand up. Push, pull, carry, step up, hinge at the hips, brace the trunk. Those are the pillars. If you can sit down and stand up under control, carry weight safely, push a door or an object, pull something toward you, climb steps with power, and bend without collapsing, then you are protecting the exact mechanics that daily living depends on. This is where strength becomes practical and deeply personal. A chair squat is one of the best examples. Sit down slowly, stand up with control, and repeat. That is not glamorous, but it is gold. Why? Because it strengthens the legs and hips that let you rise from chairs, toilets, cars, and low seats without struggle. Then carry something with weight. It can be grocery bags, dumbbells, water jugs, a backpack. Carrying trains the hands, arms, shoulders, core, and posture all at once. That is daily life training in its purest form. Next, push against a wall, a countertop, or do an incline push-up on a sturdy surface. That keeps your upper body alive. Then add some pulling, even if it is as simple as resistance bands or a row movement. Finally, step-ups onto a low platform or stair teach power, balance, and control where it matters most. These are not exercises. These are rehearsals for staying capable. People love to overcomplicate this because complication makes them feel intelligent. But complexity is often where progress goes to die. Here is a sample structure: 5 movements, 2 to 3 sets each, 8 to 12 steady repetitions with full control. Chair squats, wall or incline push-ups, band rows or dumbbell rows, step-ups, carrying. That alone, performed twice a week, can change the trajectory of someone's later decades. Add a short rest between sets. Keep the form clean. Stop before sloppiness begins. And never confuse recklessness with effort. You are not auditioning for injury. You are building usefulness. That is a different mentality altogether, and it is the adult mentality, the mature mentality, the mentality of someone who wants results that last rather than stories that sound dramatic. Now comes the third strategy, and this is where real transformation happens: progressive challenge. In plain English, your body must be asked to do slightly more over time, or it has no reason to improve. This is the law. Gentle at first, yes. Reckless, never. But gradual progression is non-negotiable. If 10 chair squats are easy, do 12 next week. If 12 are easy, hold a light weight. If 5-pound carries feel simple, go to 8 pounds. If your wall push-ups are smooth, move your feet back or lower the angle. Improvement is not built on novelty. It is built on measured demand. The body loves being challenged just beyond comfort. That is how muscle stays. That is how bone is reminded to remain sturdy. That is how confidence grows without fanfare. This is especially important for older adults because many have spent years avoiding challenge under the mistaken belief that challenge itself is dangerous. No, unpreparedness is dangerous. Weakness is dangerous. Fragility is dangerous. Sensible progression is protective. Let me make that crystal clear. The goal is not to crush yourself. The goal is to become slightly harder to crush. There is a world of difference. I have seen people in their 60s and 70s gain back strength, stability, and dignity not because they found some miracle method, but because they respected the logic of gradual improvement. A little more load, a little more control, a little more confidence. They did not need perfection. They needed progression. And progression, done patiently, changes the conversation your body is having with time. Here is a powerful rule. When an exercise starts to feel easy and controlled, that is not the time to quit it. That is the time to respect it enough to progress it. Too many people stop the moment they become capable. That is like watering a tree just long enough to see the first green leaf, then walking away. No wonder results disappear. Your body requires maintenance because life itself is maintenance. Hair grows back, dust returns, bills keep coming, and strength, my friend, also demands upkeep. Once you understand that, you stop resenting the routine and begin respecting it. 2 days a week is not punishment. It is preservation. It is one of the clearest ways to tell the future. You do not get to take me apart without a fight. Now, the fourth strategy, and this one is ignored constantly because it is less exciting than workouts. Feed and recover the body like it belongs to someone you intend to keep alive and capable. Strength work is the signal. Recovery is the construction crew. If you train, but sleep poorly, eat carelessly, and never give the body the raw material it needs, then you are trying to build a house out of dust. Muscle is built from repeated stimulus and proper repair. Bones also benefit from load, nutrition, and consistency. That means adequate protein, reasonable hydration, and enough sleep to let the system repair itself. No, this is not glamorous. Yes, it matters enormously. The older body can still adapt, but it does not tolerate foolish neglect the way a younger body sometimes seems to. Protein matters because muscle tissue requires building blocks. You do not need to become obsessive. You do need to become intentional. Include a solid source of protein in each meal when possible. Eggs, fish, Greek yogurt, lean meat, cottage cheese, beans, lentils, tofu if that is your preference. Eat like somebody who understands that strength is a biological process, not a motivational poster. Hydration matters because tired, underhydrated people move worse, recover worse, and often mistake fatigue for aging itself. And sleep, let us talk about that honestly. Sleep is when your body handles repair, regulation, and restoration. If you treat sleep like an inconvenience, your body will eventually return the insult. You cannot brag your way out of biology. You cannot out-tough a system that is chronically under-recovered. Recovery is not laziness. Recovery is strategy. And because bones are part of this conversation, let us not pretend they are passive bystanders. Bones respond to loading. They need reason to stay robust. Resistance work, weight-bearing movement, and proper nourishment all contribute to that larger picture. This is not a call to paranoia. It is a call to responsibility. If you have been sedentary for years, or if you have balance issues, joint pain, osteoporosis, heart concerns, or a medical condition, use your head and get proper guidance before jumping into anything aggressive. There is nothing macho about being careless, but do not use caution as camouflage for avoidance. That game has ruined many people. Respect the body, yes. Coddle it into decline, no. There is a middle ground, and it is called intelligent effort. Now let me address the excuse that sits quietly in the corner of this conversation. I'm too old to start. Nonsense. You may be too old to waste more years. That is true, but too old to begin? That is often a story people tell themselves because beginning would force them to admit that some control still remains in their hands. And that is a heavy realization. Because if some control remains, then inaction is no longer just unfortunate. It becomes a choice. A costly one. I am not telling you that you can become 25 again. That would be a carnival trick, not wisdom. I am telling you that your body can become more capable than it is now, and that difference can be life-changing. More strength means more options. More options mean more freedom. That is the chain.